Well, hey, friends, we continue our reading in the Gospel of John. We pick up right where we left off in John chapter 11. Remember, Lazarus had just been brought back from the dead for everyone to see. And now you have the crowds and everybody trying to figure out who Jesus is. So read along with me, starting in verse 45. Therefore, many of the Jews who had come to visit Mary had seen what Jesus did and believed him. But some of them had went to the Pharisees and told them what Jesus had done. The chief priests and the Pharisees called a meeting of the Sanhedrin. "What are we accomplishing?" they asked. "Here is this man performing many signs. If we let him go on like this, everyone will believe him, and then the Romans will come and take away both our temple and our nation." Then one of them, named Caiaphas, who was the high priest that year, spoke up. "You know nothing at all. You do not realize that it is better for you that one man die for the people than the whole nation perish." He did not say this on his own, but as high priest that year, he prophesied that Jesus would die for the Jewish nation. And not only for that nation, but also for the scattered children of God, to bring them together and make them one. So from that day on, they plotted to take his life. Therefore, Jesus no longer moved about publicly among the people of Judea. Instead, he withdrew to a region near the wilderness, to a village called Ephraim, where he stayed with his disciples. When it was almost time for the Jewish Passover, many went up from the country to Jerusalem for their ceremonial cleansing before the Passover. They kept looking for Jesus. And as they stood in the temple courts, they asked one another, "What do you think? Isn't he coming to the festival at all?" But the chief priests and the Pharisees had given orders that anyone who found out where Jesus was should report it so that they might arrest him. We read this story, or this part of the story, and it's definitely pivoted now. Jesus is not out and about in the public because he knows what's coming after him. Notice what Caiaphas, the high priest in office that year, said. He prophesies, scripture says that he prophesies that one man's death was better than the death of a nation. And what is he thinking at the time? In his mind, in his fleshly, carnal mind, he's thinking, we're going to lose our influence, we're going to lose our power, the Romans are going to come down on us. But he was actually prophesying of the truth that this one man's death would be good for that nation, the Jews, and then for all the scattered children of God. I see a couple things in this passage that not only was this prophecy true, but it was coming from somebody that an unlikely place, an unlikely source. But we see in Jesus' stories as this starts to unfold right before our eyes in the text that Jesus knew what was coming and he willingly started his path towards the cross. Hey, listen, tomorrow I pick up in John chapter 12 and we will read this story of Jesus as it continues to unfold in the Gospel of John. So join us tomorrow, 10 a.m. right here in Gainesville. God's got this. The best is yet to come.